Hey, my dear members in New Mexico. Oh, this is so exciting to me, and I'm so honored that I can share my experience with you today. But first, I want to thank you that you welcomed my love, Robbie, so wonderfully, and that you supported him so much and encouraged him. And thank you for that. So, now I will share my experience with you, and here we go. I will read it like we usually do, right? I was able to get to know Nichiren's Buddhism in 1984 and have had countless experiences. It's not that the longer you practice, the fewer challenges you face. True to the saying that even saints and sages cannot lead a life without difficulties. It became increasingly clear to me that as long as I hoped for time when I was chanting that would be free of obstacles, I would suffer. Every situation that I have overcome by chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo has given me a gift that is still imperceptible. Over time, through the many times of determination, a strong foundation of trust in the mystical law was established. A deep trust in my life, in my happy life. Personally, I feel that I have developed away from a victim role towards the unlimited freedom of the Buddha. In 2015, my heart suddenly stopped and I was given a pacemaker. It was also discovered that I had an immune deficiency and therefore suffered from chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS. What all this entailed changed my life fundamentally. I was retired, alive with a pacemaker. I was grateful for the support, and yet I wished I could live without the source of inspiration and without a pension. In 2020, at the start of the global pandemic, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer with lymph gland involvement. I had previously had severe migraine attacks and severe shoulder pain for a year. That saved my life because I went to the orthopedist and he sent me straight to an ultrasound because of the swollen lymph nodes. When I found out that the treatment would be like after an operation to remove the tumor and the affected lymph nodes, I was very scared. To be more precise, I was scared to death. I was shaking all over and could not stop it for 3 days. On the 3rd day, I realized that I couldn't continue like this. I would die of fear and not of cancer. I chanted with anger and determination that this must change immediately. That day, 3 old-term friendship members of the SGI were calling me, and each of them encouraged me so much that the fear slowly changed. I didn't know exactly whether I would do the chemo and radiation and everything else, but one thing was now clear to me. I will win. No matter what, I will win. I received support from all sides. There were many moments when I needed an answer or information, and it always came to me. My deep decision to win in any case was as if I had started the engine. The constant daimoku of me and the members was the fuel, and so I got closer and closer to my goal. What is my goal? Get healthy, sure. But one thing was even more important. To become happy. To be happy, Daisaku Ikeda kept begging, please be absolutely happy. That's the only thing I really ask of you. Was I happy? Certainly in some moments, but in depth, not really. Chanting was like a navigator guiding me where to go every day. This is how I came across the information that helped me to work intensely on my happiness. It was clear to me that if I wanted to be truly happy, I would have to give up any victim mentality. Really in depth, a clear, mandate to Gonschorr, which cannot be sought outside of ourselves. I will be 100% healthy. I am happy. I feel good. Okay, where does this start? How do I actually feel? Oh, my pinky toe feels good. I bathed myself in the feeling and the comfort of my little toe and other parts of my body. I relearned from a dubious feeling of not feeling well to feeling absolutely ease. My life energy impressed not only me, but also the doctors treating me. I chanted every day and more or less danced through the chemotherapy. I was doing really well, but I still couldn't say it. I am fine. I am well. I even chanted in the radiation machine. That team of the clinic found this pleasant, and I had another opportunity to talk about this philosophy. Before the radiation, my pacemaker had to be removed because the area to be irritated was exactly in that area and the device would be damaged in the process. This hit me again very strong. But I persisted in thinking that if this were the case, it must be good for something. Yoshi was once asked about the meaning of life at a training class, and he replied, "What if life has no meaning? What if the meaning was that you gave life meaning?" This freedom of the Buddha to give things the meaning that we want to give them moved me deeply. In contrast to the powerlessness of being faced with a cancer diagnosis, I experienced an ever-increasing strength, a freedom to decide how I wanted to feel. Then something that I thought was impossible happened. My heart has healed despite cardiotoxic chemotherapy. The pacemaker did not have to be relocated, but could be completely removed. I am living without a pacemaker again. I had resigned myself to having to have the device's batteries surgically changed a few times for the rest of my life, but now this. Then there was my radiologist statement that I would have to accept burns to my skin from radiation. The breast tissue would also definitely become hard. I said that does not necessarily have to be the case. But he repeated at least twice more that I had to accept this with my fine skin, my sensitive skin. But after the 27th irradiation, there was still nothing to be seen. The doctor simply said, "What faith can do, that's amazing." A doctor from the German Cancer Information Service asked me to write a book about my faith. He said that they can convey everything about Western medicine, but the important factor of faith is not easy to convey to people. So Kyle, my dear friend, also encouraged me to definitely write a book, and Yoshi said, "Una, I am sure you don't have this illness as a result of karma, but as a task." So I wrote the book, Unexpected, Not Against Cancer, but for a Happy Life. Soon will be in English. So I sat down on January 1st, 2022, and 16 days later got up from the table and saw my book in front of me. 260 pages of experiences and autobiographical stories with photos that I took with my cell phone over the time. The process of writing a book was very exciting and new territory for me. I set myself the goal of encouraging at least one person with this. Now there are so many, and the number is constantly increasing. In January 2023, I chanted with a young women's division member from Italy. I was thrilled by how she approached her challenges, and I was inspired to look at where I had doubts. I didn't want to wait for the next catastrophe to fundamentally change my karma. In which area did I not push forward with all my strength and perhaps even give up? I didn't have to look long. After disastrous decades of dating relationships, I was indeed about to give up. I no longer believed that I would meet great love. That just could not be the case. I wrote a book to encourage people to believe in the impossible and focus on happiness and had such big doubts. I chanted every morning for trusting, believing. Then on February 14th, Ravi and I chatted. This is another wonderful experience that would go beyond the scope of this article. Maybe just this much. Not only did he tell me how much he loved me on Valentine's Day, we met for a day in Paris in May and have been a couple ever since. Ravi started chanting, and with this trip tried out what it was like to make the impossible possible. Fly to Paris for one day. Neither of us will ever forget this experience. Back in New Mexico, where he lives or lived, we see, he received cancer and shortly afterwards took the study exam. Thank you for your support on that one too, guys, girls. We are happier together than we have ever been in a relationship. True love exists. Yes. It starts with yourself. True appreciation for yourself and your life is the basis for attracting exactly this kind of relationship with another person. I know that I have used the poison of illness to open this gate in my life. I understand more and more how chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, life towards happiness, and why difficulties and obstacles can actually be trampoline to happiness. A trampoline to happiness, I would say. Well, the translation is by Google, so excuse me for some mistakes, but thanks for listening, and I know we will meet ASAP. Thank you. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Bye.